Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to another reflection. So in today's gospel from Mark, Jesus says, "Heaven and earth will pass away, but my word will not pass away." So in other words, we live in a very fast-paced world. The world is a changing world. Ideas change, society is changing, technology is changing. And so in this changing world, we as people are always trying to seek certainty. We're trying to settle. We're trying to find things that we can completely depend on. And so in that regards, we will try and find a job which we can completely depend on to provide for our family, and we may even try and find relationships that we hope are long term and in that sense unchanging, and so that you can settle with whoever your partner is. And so whilst all that is normal, and some of these things are necessary, like we need a job, to provide financially for our family, to be able to look after ourselves. This world kind of makes it look like we need money to survive, and to an extent I guess that is true, to buy food and things. But there's a level in which we shouldn't go over. In other words, yes, we need money, we need financial finance to be able to to live through this world, but it shouldn't get to a point where we completely depend on it, where our livelihood is completely dependent on that. Because, like I said, we live in a changing world, and money is always going to change, and so if we depend on something that is always changing, then we will never be able to find certainty. We will never be able to settle. With jobs, for example, like I said, we need jobs, but unfortunately, some people are being made redundant today, and these things are quite unpredictable. For example, with COVID, a lot of jobs, a lot of companies have had to shut down because of the amount of loss that's been made. These things are things that we can't really predict. No one really predicted COVID, but it happened. And so we should not put our whole dependence on things that are always changing in this world. But we are reminded in today's gospel that his word is not changing, is unchanging. And Jesus says, Saint Paul says, to the letter to the Hebrews, he says, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So my dear friends, the world is going to change. The opinions are going to change. Opinions of you will change. The actions that you do, may be seen good at one time, and they may be seen as something bad in another time. So all these things are always changing. We are living in a transitioning world, but Jesus' word for you is always going to stay the same. His love for you is always the same. His compassion for you is always the same. The way he sees you from the very first time, from when you were first conceived to now, is still the same. And that is with unconditional love. And when it comes to relationships too, this is something that it's quite important to really address, because all of us, we want to be able to find the life partner, right? And sometimes, unfortunately, we will walk into relationships without a proper sense of discernment. We are completely dependent on the people we meet, rather than giving our dependence to God, giving our dependence to Christ. My dear friends, if we pour out our soul, our mind, our dependence, and give Jesus that authority over our life, the unchanging Christ, when we give him that authority over our life, he'll give us the life partner that we deserve. He'll give us the life partner that we need. If marriage is your vocation, he'll give you the person that you need in your life. And this person, because it has been given to you by Christ, this person will be with you for the whole of the time Christ permits you. And so why? Because we are making Christ that foundation. It's like, suppose you make a building, right? Civil engineers, when they construct buildings, they want to make sure they make a foundation that is long lasting, a foundation that won't just easily break. And so that is exactly what Christ is for our lives. He is that unbreakable foundation that we have in our lives. And so, even when we go through difficulties in life, difficulties in this changing world, when unforeseen circumstances hit us, because we have that strong foundation in Christ, although we may be wobbled, we will still be standing. See, having Christ as our foundation is like what Jesus says himself, building a house on a rock as opposed to sand. When we build our house on a rock, it won't fall. When we build our lives on Christ as the foundation, we will be hit by problems at times, but we will have the strength to still remain standing. And so, my dear friends, I just want to say this to you all, is let Christ be the unbreakable foundation in your life. Let him be the unchanging foundation. And like I said, yes, we need money in this world to survive. We need, some of us, we are looking for a long-term relationship. But if your dependability is on the things of this world, then you won't be able to stand for long, because it's always changing. It's always unpredictable. But Christ, in a sense, he's predictable because his love is not changing. His love is the same. His love for you is the same. His strength for you, his support for you is always the same. So let Jesus be that unbreakable foundation for you. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. I hope you have a great week ahead. God bless.